Okay, well, this morning I'm going to steam these two Mamod marine engines. We have an ME2 on the left and an ME3 on the right. And first time I've ever steamed these two together, actually. Just thought I'd do it for a change since everything else is packed up for Steam Toys in Action. The ME2, which is this one here in case you didn't know, this one dates from around about 58. It's quite an early one. It's got certain features on it which sort of date it to the very earliest form. And this was probably one of the rarest of the marine engines, apart from the pre-war ME1. And as much as that, it only lasted until 65, after about 1,500 were made. Not particularly successful engine. Consequently, I think that's why they're rare now. Basically, it didn't have the prop shaft of the ME1, and also it sports an upright engine, so you can drive a long shaft off it onto probably a flywheel and then onto a prop of some description. It's not particularly powerful in as much as that it needs a heavier flywheel. The brass disc crank on there is not particularly heavy, so it can be a bit of a bugger to start. Also, they don't sort of run very, very smoothly. They seem to run in fits and starts, to the simple fact that all the oil comes straight out the cylinder. You've got a cup lubricate here which drips some oil onto the cylinder face ports here, but that's about it. On this side we have the ME3. Now this one replaced the ME2 in 65. 65 was around about when J&L Randall stopped making SEL engines, and they sold their remaining stock of marine engines to Malins, and Malins decided to put the 1560 SEL motor onto the ME2 base plate and discontinue the ME2. Now these lasted until around about 72, after 2,700 units, round about that. It does run a lot better. It's got a heavier flywheel, it's a lot smoother, and you know, it's not a bad engine at all. The ME2 does suffer from that lack of weight. So anyway, some steam's coming up now. Something's a little bit loose up top here, I think. So we'll just tighten that up a tad, and we'll see if we're getting any movement from these. That's the ME2 running. And then we have the ME3 running. They tend to spit out steam and oil straight from their exhaust pipes, which sort of point downwards, and they run alright for like the first 5 minutes, especially in the case of the ME2, but once the oil starts running out, it does start sticking, it starts almost seizing really. I've got these sitting on a towel because they do tend to vibrate around a lot, and this will stop it. Most of the noise is coming from the ME2. The ME3 is it's a lot smoother and quieter, a little unit altogether. Essentially it's identical apart from the obviously the engine unit. The two lamps are slightly different. The ME2's got the very early sort of soldered brass lamp, but it's sort of like nickel plated in some respect, nickel plated steels. It's not very common. The ME3's got the slightly later sort of all brass pan type methylated spirit burner, which by then must have been becoming quite rare, because obviously the old steel type ones were more prevalent because of the ever increasing popularity of the T1 and obviously the SR1. Both of them sport the sort of large rectangular decal, which was introduced around about the same time as the SE3 in '57. The ME3 still has one, so it's probably an early ME3, because by the time that it finished production it had got one of these scalloped edge decals on them instead. I'm not sure if an ME2 ever had a decal like that. It's just a sort of maybe an inconsequential variation, but it's something worth looking out for. That's it, obviously you can find an ME2. They don't seem to appear that often. I've only seen 3 or 4 over the last 8 or 9 years. I've seen one at Steam Toys in action last year other than mine, and I just don't think they were very, very popular engines. When you compared it to a proper ME1 with a proper prop shaft, you didn't have to do any extra work. You could drop it straight into a hole and away you went. Thus it's made it one of the sort of rarest Mamods to actually get hold of. You know, it's a nice engine to own. I paid quite a lot of money to get my hands on this one because I wanted one for a long time, and I doubt if I'll ever fit it in a boat, but you can use it as a stationary engine. It's got a small pulley rim on the dog pulley itself, it's just nice to run it once in a while. This is only the 3rd time I've run it since I've had it, so it's an infrequent steamer. But I'm saying that, it does seem to be running very well, and the ME is running particularly well. I've basically filled that cylinder full of oil, doused it in oil, and it tends to run okay for 5-8 minutes, and then it really starts sticking after that. There you have it, 2 ME engines. I've got an ME1 upstairs, but obviously it's a bit more awkward to steam because you can't sit it flat on a towel. And say they're both very fine runners. I would say of them, the SEL was probably the better runner, although it does say in the Bible that it was the least reliable. Who can say? Perhaps there's a bit of partisanship on behalf of Mamod marine engines. Nonetheless, 2 nice engines. If you can get hold of one, either of them, very nice to actually get hold of, because they, you know, they do complete the collecting roundness and stable of your engine collection.